Right, welcome back everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Turning Point Fall of Liberty. Oh god, I'm being punished. Yes, this is the game which is more interesting as a lawsuit than it is as a video game. What the hell am I talking about? Well, the developers of this game, Spark Unlimited, much like Infinity Ward, used to work for Electronic Arts, making Medal of Honor games. However, they left, and Electronic Arts promptly sued them for, among other things, supposedly not returning texture libraries and various other things. That was settled out of court by Activision, and Activision then set them to work on making Call of Duty Finest Hour, which they then promptly did not make. In fact, at one of the development milestones, they had only made one level of a game that was supposed to have 15. So Activision had to make 6 of the levels themselves, and also had to outsource making 2 versions of it to other development houses, and generally help the shit out of Spark Unlimited. Spark Unlimited then sued them for it, saying that, among other things, they didn't accept them picking up the sequel, and that they hired away some of their employees. So this is basically, Spark Unlimited is the people that Activision didn't want. Activision then sued them right the hell back, and that was only settled out of court with Codemasters when they named them in the lawsuit. So yes, all very fun stuff, and half of the people who Spark Unlimited have made games for have sued them later. Marvellous people, quite clearly. Yes, powered by the Unreal Engine, like Batman Arkham Asylum, 3 Gears of War games, Bioshock, Mirror's Edge, Mass Effect and Stranglehold. And Turok. Und now on the Nazi channels, why Fräulein mit ein Cup. Oh my god, quick, turn it off! Right, yes, there we go. They're all being terrorized by horrible Nazi television. So, we got to fight in a new game. We have to take the fight and fight the good fight, which will happen in America or something. Alright, so we're going to go on normal, because I can't be bothered to play any of the harder difficulties, and now we will have the plot. It is a mistake to try and look too far ahead. The chain of destiny can only be grasped one link at a time. Not that helps Spark Unlimited, who can't grasp it any links at a time. Alright, on December the 30th, 1931, a then obscure British diplomat, yes, he was Chancellor of the Exchequer before then, but that's apparently obscure, named Winston Churchill, was struck by a taxi while visiting New York City. Though he spent the rest of his life walking with a cane, he's fired, blah 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 blah. Apparently, the basis of this plot is that Winston Churchill was the only person in the entirety of Europe and Russia worth a shit, and so if he had died, then somehow everyone else would have evaporated, and he apparently also elected Roosevelt, which I'm fairly sure would surprise America. So yes, the Nazis have apparently managed to get twin-engine bombers across the Atlantic. I'm not entirely sure how they did that. I guess they teleported. And so these bombs are going to strike the Statue of Liberty, which is apparently now made of solid metal and so doesn't crumble up like a cheap cardboard box. And now we're in the game, and wait a fucking minute. Liberty Island is not that close to Manhattan. Even I know that. What is this? They based this on Grand Theft Auto 4? Yes, and so apparently the Nazi planes fly past and we are on a construction site because we are a construction worker. Our name is Dan Carson and we are probably the only person worth a damn in the whole world. My god, they've catapulted 1,000,000 planes towards us. These are shells from battleships that are descending here, not really doing a whole lot, and that guy's having a good old dangle, but let us make our way 4th and 5th now so that... what the hell was that doing? And that plane just flies around there and then vanishes. And what we have to do here is negotiate the incredibly difficult girder way here, while meanwhile looking at girders and making them explode, because we have magical construction worker powers, apparently. So we got to do this. It's very, very fascinating, I'm sure. Let's have a quick look up and watch as these planes fly off into the LOD cutoff and then vanish for no reason. Brilliant. We're just in that kind of quality game, I guess. So yes, we have the dreary movement tutorial to master. What the hell is so important about this building? They're bombing the shit out of it with every single wave of planes. Also, why are they flying so badly? You'll later see some of these bombers will actually crash into buildings for no reason at all. And yes, apparently construction workers in the 1950s look awfully like modern skateboarders too. What the hell? You know, I think all of these men should be grounded as soon as they get back. There's some fairly worthless flying going on here, and the battleships are meanwhile shelling buildings which don't appear to care that much about it. And we now have the exploding barrels. We have already reached exploding barrels in this game. We have hit rock bottom already, and we are barely into the first level. Right, so what do we got to do now? We've got to go in here. Right, now having paused commentary to cough for a little while, I will now fall off this beam, because you're supposed to, otherwise you'll never get that command prompt, and you will never know how to do it, and you only ever have to do it once in the game, but it is once too many times, as you will see when we get to Tower Bridge, but that is for the future, don't you know? One thing you might have also noticed there is that when you're dangling by your hands, your eyeballs catapult themselves out of the back of your skull so that you can see yourself in a third-person type view, which I'm sure all of us have had happen to us many times, but then again, this is a first-person shooter. You can't even see your own nose, so you can hardly argue about unrealistic camera things. Let's pull ourselves back up and continue with our America-saving heroism, which will manifest itself as letting this guy fall to his doom. Off you go. Right, that was his purpose in the universe. So now, meanwhile, many things are going to explode and yet be curiously unconcerned with the entire procedure, and the German Navy is just going to sit there being pretty. So, yes, thousands of German planes are flying overhead, but not really doing anything much. Meanwhile, we'll walk past this cement mixer and then random acetylene tanks will explode, as they do. What the hell? You know, we built this building, and we obviously didn't do a particularly good job of it. It's not surviving this bombing runs, and meanwhile, here is a paratrooper, because that is a realistic military scenario. So we will grab him, and then we will lob him off the top of this building, and he will experience rigor mortis! My god, you're supposed to die before that, you silly German. And now we've got our magical, mystical MP50 type machine gun, which is exactly the same as MP40, only it has a flashlight. You see, this clever, high-tech German technology from 1953. I am totally not buying that the Germans ever intended to build that. Even the RLM were not that stupid. And yes, it's got jet engines, so it just kind of flits past ridiculously as opposed to having any sense of menace. So we will now ignore that forever. Those are... yeah, this is blatantly Red Alert 2's intro. And meanwhile, the Germans have got a bit of a plan. They're going to blow up nothing, and then they are going to drop paratroopers into the sea! My god, that's much better than the Navy. They are going to conquer all of the water, and that will stop New York somehow, maybe, I don't know. Oh, and these guys are all going to drop them. You know, you're kind of supposed to choose between bombing the place or dropping paratroops on it. Doing both isn't usually a good idea, and meanwhile loads more planes will appear out of nowhere again. And anyway, I think that's enough of this bullshit. You'll also notice that the cars driving around on the roads below are curiously unconcerned with all of this and are just getting on with things. That's just that New York spirit for you. So let's climb onto these glowing radioactive type blocks, and then we will jut on this here elevator, because that seems like a good idea. What is with these bloody jet sounds? There's not even jet engine sounds, they're prop engine sounds, and now this building is going to explode. I actually missed why it explodes. A plane crashes into it for no reason. So apparently these, the Luftwaffe, despite the fact that they have huge amounts of funding, have only brought their most incompetent pilots along here. Hold down L2 to use your iron sights. Your weapons are more accurate and have less recoil. Well, yeah, there we go. We've got more of these German-type fellows to shoot. They're trying to do some dastardliness here, parachuting down as they are waving their guns around ridiculously. You know, you're supposed to actually, like, use the lines to control your descent. That way you wouldn't end up on top of buildings that are about to explode. You know, even if we hadn't tossed that guy off the top, the skyway would have exploded a couple of seconds later anyway. This is the worst planned invasion I've ever seen in my life. You. I blame you for all of this. Right, oh, what? Oh no! The elevator's betrayed us! It was working for the Germans the whole time! Curse you! Oh my god. That wasn't Sir Elevator at all. Right, meanwhile, let's have a look at the canopies of these, which are, they've anchored themselves to helium-filled jellyfish, and they're trying to mate. That's dirty. I'm not going to show that on YouTube. Let's put that away. And there's a man there fiddling around with an air conditioning system. Apparently, this is the most vital thing in America for them to take hostage, is to take control of all the aircon systems of all these various buildings. I have no idea why this is a good idea, but oh right, we've got ourselves a Gewehr 47 we have, which is also rubbish. However, it's not as rubbish as this, because this is a rubbish flashlight. Behold the rubbish flashlight, as it has an origin point in front of the gun and also slightly to the right. Behold. Yeah, that's not how flashlights work. Oh, what? You're a treacherous German. You will not take this top of this building hostage because it is America, and I am an American, and I will stop you. You will also be able to hear the score. The score is by Mike Giacchino, who is an award-winning type composer. So this is the sound of an award-winning composer phoning it in completely. Hey, listen to the music. What the hell am I supposed to actually feel here? It's just generic heroic music. Okay, and this is the Mauser 1935 Pistol, which is apparently some sort of bizarre cross between a Colt 45 and a Mauser C96. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I think we can run around with this to demonstrate that for some reason it has an AK-47 tangent sight on the top of it. Let's run! Run, you fool! There we go, there's the sight. And we will check out this top of building which we have saved, and this elevator which will menace no one in future. But the skyway has crashed down through there and has created us a path, so we will leave this cement mixer which is here for some reason. We have freed it, and we'll take that ammo as well. That will be necessary to us, vital on our quest as we take forth the world's worst gun sight. This one's isn't much better, mind you, and we'll go down here and we'll drop into a jellyvator, which will take us to the next area using teleportation. Here we go. Look here, you see, we'll drop down into there and then... What? My god. Now, I tried something ahead of here when it didn't work, so I'm going to try it again. Alright, so we'll pull out our rifle, and some doors can be opened. Thanks, Spark, I never knew that. Alright, so something has just happened up here, and there's a sort of nozzle there, and there's fire, so let's pull on this, which has a Pokeball here, and yay, Blastoise! He'll save us. I don't know how we got up there, but let's go through the door from Bioshock and into this... What the hell? A plane has crashed into the building, and thusly the pilot has survived, because that makes sense, so we will hit him so hard he dies. Because Carson is a totally ordinary man, you see, and totally ordinary men can do things like that, I suppose. This game was made after 9/11. I think we're fairly sure that planes cannot in fact just wedge themselves into the side of buildings and not damage either thing. Oh no, New York has exploded. And here come the Nazis in their spaceship. Right, they've got FG-44s there, which is a reasonable weapon if only it didn't fire so goddamn fast. Sometimes you can get them to drop them there so that you can pick them up, but I couldn't this time, and we've got some mad Germans shouting nonsense. So we've got some very flat rubble here, and look at it. Look at it. Rubbish. And planes do not do that. So, yeah, and how did this plane crash anyway? It's not like anyone's firing anti-aircraft guns at it, and we don't even have any anti-aircraft guns. But we do have a shitload of air raid sirens for some reason, and we got grenades as well. Just have a quick look around here for the FG-44, but it isn't here. That man's just having a lie down. Laziness. Oh, someone's being forced to play this game. Right, so we've got another MP50 there, and they've got to climb back up the ladder, and then we must partake of some shimmying to hide the level load times. You will note that things like this happen in any badly programmed UT3 engine game. Either doors will take an enormously long length of time to open, or you'll have to do lots of shimmying and then make loud farting sounds. There's a taxi here. Carson was originally a taxi driver in early drafts of the script. However, for some reason they decided against that and decided to make him a construction worker, which makes sense, being as, this game is abysmally programmed, so we really needed that panoramic view of the badly rendered New York City. And meanwhile, of course, the Germans are trying to take over the most vital and strategic areas of America, such as back alley lockups and basketball courts, because they are more square than other things. And oh, here's another one of those spaceships. You get out of it. You also notice that this gun only recoils when it feels like it, and the rest of the time it just sort of doesn't. That guy's fallen to his demise, and they're dangling a rope through the side of a building. More of this evil Nazi super technology, no doubt. You, sir, you're rubbish. I'm going to blast you with my blast, and then I will blast you with my blast. Where are you? Stop trying to do that. That was ridiculous of you. Alright, so we'll swap that out, and then we'll go and have a look at the evil that the Nazis have been perpetrating. Firstly, we'll have a look at their evil weapon type thing. It's got technology on it, you see. You will find that if you look straight down, you can actually look at weapons. It's a bit like GoldenEye in that respect. But look here, there's this toolboxes here, but there is also this. Let us behold it. My God! They've been making New Yorkers have a lie down. Those diabolical Germans. How can we put a stop to that? Well, we can do that with our gun, that's how. There's... You know, you'd have to climb up them in a better game, but in this game, no. However, we have found the exploding barrel storage truck thing here, so we will use it against them. There we go. Marvelousness, and it slows the game down because this is 2008, you know. It's not like advanced technology exists or anything. So we'll swap out our magazine again, and then we will give this man a good old bit of German-type metal, and then we will grab this man and take him for a walk. This is the grapple system, which you can use to trigger an animation where you hit someone. You, sir, you're coming with me, I'm going to take you hostage, and my God! He teleported! I've never heard of the like before. You know, all these badly animated people are going to run away.
We're setting up a counterattack. Hop in if you want to help.
You know, in America, I think that more than one person would be you with the gun, but now this building is going to collapse, and because it is a building collapsing in a video game made after 9/11, there's going to be a huge plume of smoke. Granted, this isn't the stupidest version of this. That would have to be Medal of Honor Airborne, where the flak term doesn't collapse and there's a huge plume of smoke, but yes, I've played this game through before, you might have noticed.
Alright, scrubs, listen up.
Either that or just...
Sergeant Callahan,
Hello,
National
Sergeant
Guard.
Callahan, National Guard.
I'm not keen on using untrained civilians, but the damn Nazis didn't give us much time to
Yeah, they only gave us 15 years.
You can all handle yourselves just fine.
I'm not going to handle myself in front of you, you dirty bugger.
We need to hold this position so we can get the subway running again and evacuate as many civilians as possible.
Yeah, there's no way they could possibly take down the
everyone.
power to an
There's some
electrical
surplus
subway
equipment down in the
system.
subway
I mean,
there.
it's not like they
Get
have heavy
geared up.
bombers or anything. Oh god, yeah, this game doesn't make any sense at all. So now we've got to wait through the interminable loading pause, this despite the fact that this game craps 2.5 gigabytes of data onto a PS3's hard drive. Marvellousness. And then we will be able to see what the evil Nazis have done to the Chrysler building. They have damaged it in a terrible manner. Terrible in more than one sense. Here we go, let's go and have a look. We've got an objective too, and we'll find out what it is in a minute. Here we go. So yes, apparently the Chrysler Building spire is fitted with apocalypse-proof glass, and they brought Godzilla along, which just shoved the top off it way over here. I have no idea how that is supposed to have actually happened. So now we will go down here, running like a man would, and we will find...
New guy, over here!
Hey there, Marcus Fenix, how are you doing? Did John DiMaggio really need the paycheck that badly? Right, so we need to get rid of that Nazi junk and get ourselves a real weapon, because who would want advanced German-type weapons when we can have all these old cast-offs? So here we go with the M1 Garand, which recoils when it feels like it, just like the other one. It also ejects a full unblocked clip every time it ejects, because they didn't bother to model an empty one. And these men, meanwhile, are mimes. I don't know why we are trying to help them here, and that one is also apparently some random British workman. That guy there's sort of looking around, these guys are crying, and this guy here is weighing up his options, I guess. That's ridiculous. Okay, now back here there are some other people who are apparently doing something to someone down there. I guess they're trying to steal his wallet or something. It's I doubt it matters. So yes, that's the NPCs who we are acting to save. That man's looking in the air, and we are going to leave this extremely silly place now in order to fight some Germans, because we must save these people. No, I'm going to go my own way. So yes, the Germans are attacking the barricade. They are doing this by just sort of randomly running out of the square, and despite the fact that there is no obstruction in front of us, there is an invisible wall there. So we are going to throw grenades at these people and shoot them with our gun-type device and try to kill them with our horrible aim and shitty crosshair. The problem with the aim in this game is that, if I remember correctly, it has 3 settings in total for the aim sensitivity. These are in order: too slow, too fast, and much too fast. So it's pretty hard to actually get a bead on anything, as it were. Now, what is going on here is that we have to defend these random buses here, which have a machine gun in them and such, from men with rocket launchers who are trying to get us for reasons which escape me, when they could just cut the power to the subway. So, oh, that guy has just died, so let's gun them down with this machine gun, which has no ammunition gauge, no heat gauge, and really nothing to stop you just holding the button down aside from boredom. So we will shoot up these men here. It can't, for some reason it can't pivot fully to the left, which doesn't make any sense to me, but it means that that guy over there is invulnerable to our ways, and meanwhile this guy's going to sort of jitter crappily around and then die. Why are we saving these people again? It strikes me that sooner or later natural selection will get them anyway. We can also aim down the sight of our machine gun, but not properly. Oh no, a grenade! Let us walk away from it slowly, because we can't walk any faster. And now we will just continue pumping tracer bullets into the nowhere. Look at this, they haven't even disturbed the blinds. That is one damn well built building. If only they had made the rest of New York out of Chrysler Building. When will they learn? When will they learn? But never mind that. In a minute, a half-assed Hanomag thing is going to show up. And no, firstly there's this guy who is going to try and hide from us. But he will fail at it because I have my gun-type machine. Here it is, the half-assed Hanomag, which has wheels because Spark Unlimited cannot animate treads, as we will see later on when they get a tank out on us. It will be silly and hilarious. So all of these men are going to try and come out of there, but they are not very good at it. So another one is going to show up, trying to get us as well. But again, how are these people supposed to have conquered the world when they can't even conquer one alleyway? It doesn't make any sense, Richard. It just doesn't. So, yeah, here they come. Oh. And apparently that one there has got bored of being in this game, and so it's just going to drive off into oblivion now. Meanwhile, another one of these ridiculous blimps is going to show up, and we are going to shoot at it, and men will now fly out of it in a preposterous manner. Here you go. One of the Wehrmacht's secret skills is their ability to throw their weapons 10 feet into the air when they die. Also, even if you don't shoot these guys, they actually descend without the aid of the rope, you will note. They just sort of reference it rather than using it, as that man there did. So we will blast him for that, because that is ridiculous and unrealistic. And then his spaceship will fly off, apparently bored of this kind of business. Off it goes into oblivion. Also, in the German version of this, they replace all the swastikas with iron crosses, just in case you wanted to know how they managed to get away with that kind of thing. But not in this version. This is a full-on Nazi-tastic variant of the game, and that, my god, they're just flying straight through it now. Mere solidness is no obstacle to these dastardly Jerrys, so we must use machine gunnery upon them. There we are. That took him out, or did it? No, it didn't, as it turns out. He just kind of descended without the aid of anything. It's great. So now this thing here is... Go on. We've seen you, we're bored of you now, and we've now completed the objective. Hooray! Now we must go over there, apparently, but firstly we will admire this here silly machine gun. Now, with the other machine guns, yeah, the belt sort of not connected to anything. So if you point it straight up, the belt is in the right place. If you point it over here, on the other hand, the belt is very blatantly not in the right place. That's ludicrous. With most of the other machine guns, and you might not be able to see it here, every time you get on a machine gun, steam comes out of the barrel. Even if you haven't fired it. It really is kind of stupid. You probably won't be able to see that on the uploaded version, but it does happen. So we will leave that pointed at the ground, so that the Nazis might not master it. And then we will make our way over here with the Thompson, which for some reason the front sight and the middle sight are lined up, but the back sight is offset down and to the left. I don't know how you would do that. Maybe it's just bent in the middle. So, get up where? What the hell are you even talking about? Okay, we've got to get up this here ladder device here. So we will climb it in our third-person view, and then the game will chug because it has to load more atrocity. Oh no, the old ones were so difficult to deal with after all. So we'll have to take out this one as well, I suppose. Look, more air conditioning. They have a fetish for air conditioning here, I think. There we go, here come the Germans, and I don't think this plan is going to be any more effective than their previous one, so let's blast them without the aid of recoil, get rid of you there, sir, and then reload this and fire upon this guy here, who thought he would be helpful to us by opening that door. And we can't get up on here. You actually can get up on here later, but at the moment this ledge obstructs us, because you see, I mean, look at it. It's made of hard background rock, and it's almost 2 inches high. How could we possibly climb it with our legs? We actually have legs in this game, it's kind of cool, but not in any way, size, shape or form. So, firstly we will get rid of our bullets from this, and then we will be able to reload it. And the on-block clip doesn't even appear if you're aiming down the side, it's kind of bizarre really, and then it'll load that up and we can throw grenades at these here Germans. The grenades in this game are incredibly effective, as I'm about to show you. Firstly we'll throw a grenade over here to get rid of these men, because they would otherwise get us. Then we will throw a grenade down here, and this is normal difficulty. Stand on the grenade, it doesn't kill you. That's truly effective weaponry right there. I hate this game. Alright, so now we're just going to make our way down here, and then we will have to take on a tank, a German E-50 tank, which apparently will have such advanced technology that the suspension doesn't have to be attached to the underside of the hull. But first it's another one of these half-assed Hanomag things, so we'll take it on with this here machine gun. And then we will get to find out that the population of New York have amazing and incredible psychic powers. But firstly, let's gun down these men. Yes, it's this fascinating Defend the Barricade mission as no prior game has ever had. The only reason this game doesn't feature you firing one of these from the back of a truck is that would involve being able to program a moving vehicle. Oh good lord, a tank is sliding into position. They actually can't even manage to make the treads move on this, something the body harvest on the N64 could do. Okay, I'll help you out here. I will levitate this 20-foot manhole cover with the power of my mind. Behold. Magic, 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 magic. That is ridiculous. Okay, so there's the E-50, which the Codemaster site for this says is a mouse, but clearly is not. It just kind of sits there, firing its non-recoiling main gun, and really not being particularly interested in us at all. But apparently the German soldiers are obliged to park their tanks directly on top of the nearest manhole cover, and so we can now go and get it with a shit minigame. It seems that they were planning to make a Wii version of this, as you'll see in a minute, but firstly, physics. My god, what the heck? Where did he come from? That's silly. We will not question it. Alright, now, you will see in a minute, this is how a tank's suspension arms are attached to the bottom of its hull. Behold. Like that. This is how a tank's suspension arms are not attached to the bottom of its hull. Why are they making us walk under this thing when they didn't even bother to attach the wheels? Who knows? But let us set a bomb here using... Oh my god. Yes, this is basically a first-generation Wii minigame of the kind that everyone hated in Call of Duty 4, so here it is again. Call of Duty 3, rather. You know, that one where you got to screw in the detonator, due to the magic of the fantastical contraption known as the screwdriver that none of us have ever witnessed in real life. So you have to do up these wing nuts, which apparently takes a colossal amount of time and effort, and can be done once again without the aid of your hands. Each one of these wires matches up to a button. If you get the wrong one, the bomb will blow up after a while. So we'll do up this last wing nut in a fascinating display of excellent game design, and then we'll turn on the bomb and fuck off before it blows our knob off. And much like in Call of Duty 1, the tanks only have one destroy state, which means that the gun immediately snaps back to being straightforward again. It's like time has never passed. Well, then again, this game is set many years before Call of Duty 1 came out, so maybe this is very advanced. It also knows it doesn't even have a final drive, this thing just levitates. Wondrous! They really put in the time and effort here. So let's go crawl through another drain and blow up another tank, because that makes sense after all, it was so fascinating the first time. So up we go, up this here ladder.
Hey, you! We need you on the other side!
I have a name, my name is Carson, and I want to keep it. You don't have a name at all, and neither do you have an animation that works properly. Hold as he glitches forth. Those bastards, they brought in the game crashing. You always have to worry that the game's going to crash. I actually have a video of the game crashing as Carson gets on the first ladder. It's brilliant. Yeah. Oh, really? Don't worry, I'm standing behind this here invincible fence. Behold. This fence technology is incredibly advanced. I'll just fire some shots at him, and then this wire mesh will block bullets. Watch as it does so. You can clearly see through it, right? Right? Wrong. This is a solid wall. You can tell by the mesh texture. So they've opened up another one of these drain covers here. Oh, shut up. Right, okay, so we'll shoot him up here, and then we will find... Here is another tank, so let us place the bomb upon it again. Yeah, you would have thought if they were wiring up a makeshift bomb, that's what happens if you get the wrong one. If you keep that going for too long, it blows up. You might notice there's a cursor which selects which one, and then you just have to press the relevant coloured button. Right, now, why would you create a makeshift bomb and not bother to wire it up? I don't think I understand, really. It's all kind of strange. And then again, this is the most incompetent resistance in the world, considering that one guy is actually worth more than all of them put together. So, we'll just turn on this here bomb. Did no one else have a bomb? I guess not. Right, so off we go down here, just run, and then we will wait for the bomb device to explode. Explode, damn you. It exploded! Hooray! We blew up another German tank. We're great at everything. And 8 more levitating wheels. These wheels are actually a one-way wall, but oh my god, it's a P1000 Barata. It's coming in to get us with its non-scrolling wheel-type textures. And it just kind of stops. And doesn't do anything. Yes, you might notice these tanks the P1000 is 35 feet tall, which means that New York has 20-foot stop signs. Who knew? Yeah. And then I pressed the wrong one out of L1 and R1. One is sprint, the other one is throw grenade. So I'm going to fire off some rounds for that, and then I'm going to climb up here, and we'll go and have an overview of the area which we have just tackled. And we will ignore the Germans, because really they're kind of irrelevant. We'll sort of run awkwardly sideways while we're still in third-person mode, because it makes sense for us to do that. So, up we go, up this here ladder. Now, ladders, much like grappling, it's actually possible to be too close to them to climb them, and yes, it is also possible to be too close to a German to grab him. It makes sense, you see. That's not the worst of it. Most of the button pushes for elevators and such are in the wrong places, and the worst one of those is the one that screws everyone over on Tower Bridge. Meanwhile, here is another one of these bloody things. These are called night owls, apparently, and yes, you've got the P1000 there, we've got these sort of twiddly AH-64 things on here, which are just looking up and down at random. And if we go over here, we can actually now climb up upon the devious brick and admire the fact that this thing, despite the fact that the website acknowledges this thing is supposed to have anti-aircraft guns, it doesn't, and also apparently the entire upper surface of this thing has blown up randomly. I'm not entirely sure how that bomb worked, but apparently it was extremely effective. I thought these things were compartmentalized, but apparently not. No, more Germans. You horrible American, we are going to run into the side of this thing. That will make us more powerful, you see. Alright, so I think we've had enough time admiring this what's-it here. It doesn't look anything like the tank it's supposed to be. It's more or less completely useless, and this thing's twiddling at us, so I think we'd better bid adieu to all of this before that. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So, down here we go. We've got to climb back down the ladder now. We've got some down ladder type antics. Now, I will give credit where credit is due here. At least you can climb down a ladder without killing yourself, which is more than the average 90s FPS could manage. But that's not really much to say about this. So let us deal with these dastardly Germans, and then you have to run over there and get killed. No, seriously, that is how the level ends. So we'll take him out, and then we will leg it over here, and then we will get our faces blown off. Marvellous. You know, that thing should have been able to kill us with just the muzzle blast, but apparently it wasn't even firing at anything. And now let's have a look at the fact that Spark Unlimited, apparently the modelers and the scene animators weren't on speaking terms, because this man apparently thinks that he has a foregrip on his Thompson, but his Thompson has other ideas. That's great stuff. So we're just going to pass out at random there, and that has been that level. We have now done 2 levels. Hooray!
For the past 2 hours, our country has been at war.
But not my studio.
Philadelphia and Washington, D.C.
Or outside of this.
Attacks without warning by German forces.
Strangely, TV studios have been spared.
Yet knows.
But could be 3.
We have scattered reports of fighting.
German
all
death toll
along
is
the
probably
eastern
higher.
seaboard.
Oh my god, the
We are
Germans
now
have
being
attacked
instructed by
America with
the
stock
National
footage.
Guardsmen to evacuate.
Oh. Well, I guess they're not getting much TV reception in there anymore. Alright, the accuracy of my weapons is much better when using iron sights. This is a blatant lie. Okay, we're actually going to end on this stage. We're going to have a quick fiddle around at the start, though, because something very stupid happens at the start of this level, and you will see what it is in a minute.
Who's that? Corporal Nelson, 9th Regiment.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
sort of
Carson.
locked on the
Maybe a
spot here,
civilian,
but we can wiggle up and down in a
he's
stupid
proven himself
manner.
to be a valuable
So you can
resource.
admire the fact that this has this sort of strange casting texture on the top of it. Also, we came through a door with no admittance. That was naughty of us.
Our backup, Private Fredericks, went on ahead with some grenades.
There!
He said he was gonna
What is
try
going
and
on
clean it
here?
up, but that was a while ago, sir.
He doesn't wiggle my arms around.
All
Oh
right.
yes, oh, up,
Carson,
down.
see if you can do something about that machine gun.
I can't do
Or find
anything.
Fredericks.
Leave me alone. I'm
I'm
stuck.
gonna stay put and see what I can do about Stanley's wounds.
Stanley's wounds. Yeah, well, okay, what's happened to Stanley's wounds then? Oh, God, he's received a bite from a pencil. That's terrible. Anyway, I've been Evil Tim. This has been Turning Point Fall of Liberty. Goodbye.